Subscribe or they will haunt you. What is the creepiest thing that society accepts as a cultural norm? Knowing that the majority of people living on Earth have a shitty life creeps me out. And I'm just here shitting in drinkable water. I think a bunch of celebs should put a group of paparazzi together. Bankroll some really ruthless photographers to follow and annoy the paparazzi 24/7. I'd buy that magazine. Headline in tabloid paper. Burn these sick perverts for looking at young girls. Next article. Look at these glamorous photos of teen stars in tiny dresses getting out of limos. Make your mind up. And FFS stop sexualizing kids to sell newspapers. Edit. And while we are on the subject, I'd like to draw people's attention to the fact that the same guy that owns Express newspapers, publisher of some particularly dismal UK tabloids, also owns a porn publishing empire that includes a number of barely legal style magazines and videos. The half inch of space in American bathroom stalls through which you can watch people shit. Kids saying the Pledge of Allegiance kind of freaks me out. I could be irrationally paranoid, but it just feels cultish me. I remember a teacher in 4th grade, late Cold War era, telling us that kids in communist countries had to be brainwashed by their governments to convince them to believe that they were the better system. The next morning, when the entire class stood and placed hand on heart to recite the pledge, I began to understand the concept of irony, even if I didn't know the word. Here's another one. Child beauty pageants. It's fucking creepy, essentially because it promotes hypersexualization of children. And most of the time, they are dressed up like hookers. So it's basically little girls dressed as hookers to win a prize. Oh society, what the fuck? I don't think it really is socially acceptable. 99% of the population is as disgusted as you, and the other 1% are pedos. Nah, you got your percentages wrong. It's 75% think it's wrong, 5% are there to watch for their own nefarious purposes, and 20% mothers attempting to project themselves and their lack of achievement through their kid. That canned laughter on sitcoms. Those pre-recorded people are all dead. We just accept dead people telling us when to laugh. Getting defensive when people don't want kids. It's basically a third party badgering you for sex or additional kids. I had a rare condition that we thought would cause us to end up child free. We made peace with it. 2 years later, we learned that if we wanted, we'd be able to try for a kid. We made the decision to go for it. We had a baby, but it was high risk and the birth nearly ended in tragedy for both the baby and me. We came out unscathed but shaken. Everyone who knows us well knows what we went through. The tough pregnancy, birth near disaster, preemie baby. And we are still getting harassed 6 years on about when we are going to have more. Yeah, no thanks. I'd rather raise this one than risk dying to give him the baby sibling he needs. Having multiple people from the same family hold the office of POTUS. For a democracy with 330 million citizens, it would seem like we would have more options besides Bush #3 and Clinton #2. Makes me almost think this isn't what I thought it was. I know you're talking about now in the 21st century, but we've also had two Adams, Roosevelts, and Harrisons as presidents. So if Hillary or Jeb wins, 9 or 10 of our presidents will have some relation to another one. Taking pictures of strangers and uploading them to a public forum, read Facebook, without said stranger's permission. I hate how comfortable as a society we are with this. We get pissed off at the government for breaching our privacy, but no one bats an eye at someone taking a picture of a random person without their permission. Santa. I feel it is really weird to lie to children about this fat old man who breaks into your house year after year to steal cookies and milk, but he leaves gifts made by enslaved elves. He also has stalked you, so he knows if you've been bad or good, for goodness sake. As a male, not being able to express any emotion other than anger in public How men are not allowed to physically comfort one another unless in extreme grief, and even then there are rules as how it should be done. Fathers giving away the bride. Like it's usually very sweet and touching in modern practice, but it comes from the tradition of selling women. The tradition is literally based on the father transferring ownership over to the husband. Whenever I think about this, it creeps me out. Children being expected to give or receive kisses from elderly relatives or just family friends and are scolded for not wanting to do so. Graveyard/cemeteries. Why do we waste so much good land to bury a bunch of bodies in boxes? So crazy to me. Now I love cemeteries, especially Arlington. There's something peaceful in knowing that in the event of an alien invasion, thousands of undead warriors will rise from the ground to do battle. Edit. Upon further research, it appears this is not the intended function of a cemetery. There is one key strategic weakness with the human race. The dead outnumber the living. The Master. Doctor Who. Grinding on random girls at clubs. My friends call it mystery dicking. You usually grind on girls in a club if it is obvious they like you. Eye contact, convo etc. I agree, going behind some girl that doesn't know you exist and start grinding your dick on her ass is weird as fuck. The Pledge of Allegiance. I mean, think about it. What would everyone's reaction be if they heard that North Korean students were told to recite a statement affirming their loyalty to their country every day before school in total unison? Wow, those North Koreans are crazy. That's super creepy. Sounds almost like a cult chant. And yet, here we are. I'm German and spent a year abroad in the USA in high school. It felt really weird because we do not have any of that. Only time I've ever seen the German flag shown at my school was when it was in mourning. And now my fellow students were all standing there pledging allegiance to their flag. That wasn't the worst though. The worst was when we were in church and asked to extend and reach out with our right hand and bless someone. The Hitler greeting. Cheerleaders. If the idea never existed, then imagine bringing the idea up for the first time. Yeah, we are gonna have your daughters join the sports team, but not playing the sport or coaching or effing. They are gonna do flips and kicks in short skirts in front of other kids and parents. Yeah, I know, to get them excited, we'll even color match their panties since they'll be showing them so often. Sound good? That you have an obligation to talk to someone you don't want to, because otherwise it would be rude. Never mind if you're totally flat out, that other person always has first call on your time. Keeping a deceased loved one's ashes in your house, like in an urn above the fireplace, has always creeped me out a bit. Super creepy. That's why I keep my loved one's ever decaying corpses at my dining room table. Treating individuals as late as 19 or even 20 as kids. You hear it all the time. Oh, it's okay, they didn't mean to do it, they are just kids. Just 100 years ago adulthood was 13. You could marry, work, and do amazing things. Now we are kids until 30 or something. How much attention we pay to celebrities. How much attention we pay to what people do behind closed doors. So much so that we make laws about it. Seriously, why does anyone care about such things? What difference does it make if someone wants to marry 5 people or their pillow? Most Americans living the American dream are living for the 2 days at the end of the week where they can spend time with their families and actually enjoy life. The other 5 days are devoted specifically for those two. 5/7 of their life will be unhealthy, most likely stationary work. If that isn't creepy, I don't know what is. Calling your significant other baby.